Parth, thanks very much for speaking to CNBC TV 18. You've announced about 1.2 lakh crores of investment in Karnataka, but the question has been on realization because often these are commitments that may or may not translate. Just give us a sense of, what your view on the matter is, how you find the ease of doing business in the state.
No, I think in Karnataka we already have a very large presence. We have India's largest steel plant at 18 million tons. We have a large presence in JSW Energy, JSW Cement, JSW Paint, and I think the investments that we've announced are just a natural extension of the projects that we already have here, and the investment is just a testament to the Vijayanagar complex and to everything that we've done in Karnataka.
Okay, you spoke about Trump and tariffs on the stage, and those are the two T's we've been hearing about constantly. Prime Minister Modi is in the US. There's been talks of reciprocal tariffs. The White House advisor talking about enormously high tariffs that India has imposed. What, to your mind, is the best way forward for a country like India to stay competitive? What are your expectations, especially when it comes to safeguard duties?
No, like I mentioned, I think India's economy is fast developing, fast growing. And I think we are one of the most competitive countries when it comes to manufacturing. Manufacturing as a percentage of GDP is still low, and there's a long way for us to go. And if as a nation and as a country we want to employ our youth, the only way forward is industrialization and through manufacturing. So I think it's very important, while the whole world is looking at India to invest in India, to export their goods from their countries to India, we need to protect our domestic market, just like they are doing in their markets. You've seen the US impose 25% tariffs yesterday on steel and aluminium. That's a big step. No exemptions to any country, and they're protecting their domestic economy, their domestic manufacturers. We are just asking for a level playing field. It's not that we need any protection in terms of being competitive like the US does. We have presence in the US, and I can tell you for sure that the US steel industry is not globally competitive, but the Indian steel industry is. And if we want to expand our capacity from 150 million tons to 300 million tons, that calls for an investment of close to $150 billion. And if the steel industry doesn't make any profits, is hit by imports coming in from free trade countries like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, etc., then the investment will dry up in India, and we'll start becoming dependent on them. So I think my expectation from the government, and I think the government is very understanding. They know what they need to do. They are doing the investigations themselves, and we hope to have positive news very soon with regards to the safeguard duties and other tariff measures.
In the meantime, the 25% tariffs that have been announced by Donald Trump on steel and aluminium, any impact for JSW Steel, or do you think that would be limited given that most of your sourcing is done within the United States for steel?
No, for JSW USA, in fact, this is a very positive announcement. We are very excited because there were a lot of exemptions given to Korea, given to Brazil, which were bringing steel into the US, and now all of that is going to be hit by 25% tariffs. We don't take anything from India into JSW USA. We source the scrap locally. We have an electric arc furnace, and we make our own steel there, and then we process it in Texas and cater to the oil, gas, and the wind industry. So it's a very positive announcement for JSW USA, and we are very excited about the future of that company.
Well, what about the flip side on the EV segment? Now, there's been some expectations that perhaps India might make it more attractive for Tesla to come in. What would that mean for EV players like you, especially, given your ambitions in this space with the recent tie-up with MG?
No, I think India is waiting for Tesla to come in. I'm waiting for Tesla to come in as well. We need EV penetration in this country to increase. Last year, India was only at 2%. 100,000 EVs got sold in the passenger vehicle segment. We want to see these numbers go up, and more EV companies coming into our country will be welcome. Very excited about what I saw at Bharat Mobility with the Mahindra's Born Electric platform, Tata's coming up with new models, Hyundai coming up with their models, Maruti Suzuki coming up with their models, and obviously we coming up with our models. So we welcome, we hope Elon Musk comes to India so that the customer gets more choice, and that's what we need as a country. We need more EVs in our country.
Okay, so not worried about competition, but on JSW Paints, a quick word. The Axo Nobel bid, you said you're going to give it all. Any update on what's happening there?
Yeah, I think we are in the running. We are one of the companies that have been shortlisted. It makes a great sense for JSW Paints, and we're looking at it. We hope that we can become successful in it, but only up to a certain price, and we're going to give it our all, like I mentioned earlier.
Well, there have been talks that you're in talks with TPG, as a potential tie-up to make this bid. If you could confirm that for us.
Oh, there's several people interested in partnering with us
Okay.
on this. We haven't finalized any partnership yet.
All right. JSW Cements, lastly, you spoke about the IPO coming in the first half. We're 2 months in. How long before we see that?
Sometime this year for sure. We got our SEBI approval. We're waiting. You can see, the markets better than me. So we have to wait for the markets to stabilize, for the environment to improve before we do the IPO.
Just lastly, what next on the table in terms of IPO after JSW Cement? Is paints something that, the group would look at?
If we get Axo, it's a publicly listed company, so
Yeah.
we don't need to do an IPO. But I think JSW1 would be the next IPO on the block, which is our B2B e-commerce platform business.
Okay.
And then after that, JSW MG would be next on the block after JSW1.
And we wish you the best with that. Thank you very much, Parth.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching us on CNBC TV 18. For all news and updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch us on all social media platforms.